Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to everyone. On behalf of PrepBee, I am delighted to welcome you all to today's Reliance TUP Season 11 session, an incredible opportunity to explore how top minds across the country approach real world business challenges, showcase their creativity, and unlock PPI opportunities with Reliance Industries Limited. We are truly honored to have with us Ms. Shreyanshi Mishra, who completed her MBA from MICA and is currently working as a management trainee at Swiggy Instamart. Her journey from campus connections to the corporate world is truly inspiring, and today she'll bring valuable insights on how to stand out in this highly competitive platform. So, welcome, Shreyanshi.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
So, first hand look, like I want to understand, like what was the question last year and how you go about like the how you chose that particular idea.
Correct. So with Reliance TUP, it's an open-ended case comp, which means that you have not been given a case. You are open and free to choose any business idea and work on it and pitch it to the jury. With us, we decided to, our idea was called Tex Fuels, which was essentially converting textile waste into renewable biofuels. And how we went about it is that we saw a lot of ideas from previous years. Everything is available on YouTube. We wanted to have an idea that we were really passionate about. So I come from a fashion background. I know what textile waste are doing to the earth and wanted to have a sustainability angle. My teammates had some experience in engineering and chemical industry background, so all that helped us in finalizing this idea. What our approach was to when we were ideating initially is that we had a number of things in our mind. First of all, we wanted to do something for the society, so the whole sustainability angle came into the picture. Secondly, we had Reliance as an industry or as a company in mind. We saw through what their existing companies are, what their ethos is, what they are trying to build, or what how they see the future of India. So we had like we did a rundown of those industries and those places and how we with our idea can help them. Now, this was not in case with other finalists, but this was our approach, so this might help. And yeah, secondly, zero it in down to where India in general is going and where our idea will fit relevant. So in that case, there was a lot of discussion in government regulations on biofuels and the use of ethanol, some mandatory compliances about vehicles to use 30% ethanol and all that. So all these factors and obviously a number of ideation sessions helped us in zeroing down this idea. My tip will be think about the idea, go big, but when you narrow it down, you have to pass it through certain filters, like how feasible it is, can you build it in the future? Because if you get selected through this one ideation round, you will have to build a whole business idea, a whole proper pitch deck about it. So, will you be able to take the same idea through all four rounds? So, that's about how we went through.
So, did you start with multiple ideas and then narrow them down, or did you focus on developing one strong concept from the beginning itself?
So for the first round, the ideation part of it, we like as I told you, the multiple things that we had in mind, the multiple filters. We did have some two, three half-baked ideas, but this idea, when we were discussing in group, this one like popped out, and all four of us were really confident in this one, and it like ticked all the boxes of all the criteria that I mentioned ahead. So we decided to build on this and then refine it.
So, based on your experience, what advice would you give to this year participants when it comes to selecting and shaping their ideas?
Correct. So, three to four pointers on what I saw from my experience throughout the journey, and not just the first round, is that if you have a current idea, if you have a current business, or if you have an idea at any stage of point, that will be the best idea for you to work on because you already have done some research. You might have a prototype, you might have tested it out, you might have some insights from the testing and all. So, that is the best idea to go to if you have an existing idea, it can be anything from your undergrad final year project to any thing that you might have ideated with your friend, and you have gone through certain levels of deciding upon a business or uh, making a business plan. Secondly, if you don't have that, which we also did not have and a lot of people might not have, is to pick a problem or an industry that you are extremely passionate about or have resources. For example, for some other case com, in it was a GSK case com, one of our teammates, GSK, the case was about OTC medicines. So one of our teammates did have a network of chemists and like a family background from that. So that helped us get a lot of insights from it. So it can be like go all out in your network and use your resources to the fullest. And if not a network and existing resources, it can be something that you're really passionate about, that you have an existing knowledge base of, or you might have seen this problem occurring multiple times personally or with someone in your family, because that will help you give the drive to build that idea and go more depth in the research, and will also give you like a base to build on. So that's the third pointer about passion. So first is existing idea, second the resources are there, third if you're passionate about something or you have seen something, and fourth, which we did, was to see the trends that are building, both on like you can go like a global level like sustainability that we picked, on a national level like the biofuels and ethanol, on how India was focusing on the sustainability development goals, or on the future of how things are moving in general for Reliance or India, or how you can see the macro trends growing. One of the biggest ones is AI. So you can play around with that. Do not narrow yourself on something. Like one of the tools about ideation is like go big during the ideations, and then by eliminations and by filtering it out, narrow down to one thing.
So, as you mentioned, like using your network, so you basically like, did they give more weightage to primary research comparing to the secondary research?
No, no. Like, I don't think there was anything like more weightage to primary versus secondary. They really wanted to see the depth of your research. For our case, we could not get into touch with biofuel or ethanol manufacturers or everything, but we really looked into multiple papers, very technical ones, very like chemistry heavy. We also looked into if this kind of research has been done and is it viable. So it was done in some foreign country, not in India. So that helped us give an edge. Ki, okay, this is possible. So nothing on primary and secondary in general, but the depth of your research will help.
That's very nice. So, we would love to understand your process better. Could you walk us through how you structured and presented your solution last year? And how do you go about building and validating your idea?
Got it. So I'll share my deck with you guys. So before that, I also want to go through the 4 rounds because that will help in how did we build the idea. So for the first round is a 3-minute pitch video that you submit. Through this, you're selected in the second round, where this is the time where you make the whole deck. Now, this is a very short 4-slider deck in which you again explain your problem, your idea, and your solution. The third round is where you again refine your idea and you pair it with a prototype, which is very essential in case of pitching competitions. And the fourth round had the deck presentation, the video presentation, and the prototype presentation, plus an idea fair, which was like a real time pitching scenario where we had a booth, we had a prototype present, and we pitched our ideas multiple times to all the Reliance employees, and which helped us also get a real time assessment of, okay, this is what we were thinking, but this is how real life people who actually work in those industries think about, or helped us build it further. So that's just a glimpse of, if you are pitching it in the first round, you can think it through of how you can build it through like across rounds. Now, starting with our deck, uh, like I explained, our idea was text fuels from waste to what, which is essentially that we converted textile waste from across Indian textile industry into renewable biofuels, and that helped us tackle multiple problems, which is the waste generated from textile fuels, which is going into landfills and polluting all our natural resources, and secondly, converting into biofuels, which helped in reducing India's dependency on crude oil imports and making like countering pollution firsthand. So how we structured it, whenever you submit a pitch idea or a deck idea which no one knows, like it's not a case that exists, you always have to break it down or present it in such a way that the person who is assessing it knows nothing about it. So you will have to build your story in a way. So we started from stating the problem, that these are the pointers that India is facing, you know, showing the grim situation, pairing it with statistics to make it more relevant and more understandable. And then, so one side we had the problem and the other side we had the solution, very highlighted in bold that this is our solution and how our solution is catering to those problems in multiple ways. So again, here frameworks and a lot of research papers, cases, previous cases helps. Second, we had the blueprint. So this was, so the first slide was the why of our idea, why we are doing it. This slide is where you present the how of your idea. So I won't go much into the detail of it, very technical heavy. It's just basically how we took textile waste, cleaned it, sorted it out. It went through a lot of chemical processes, and then we got ethanol, biogas, and sludge as our byproduct. So this is where we actually explained the crux of the idea: what kind of machinery will be used, how it will be processed, what chemicals will be used. Then we went to the value chain. So this is pretty much similar to the blueprint, but here we also break it down because we were so much focused on sustainability being our USP, that we also mentioned how at each step we are being sustainable. Like even if we are using the chemicals, how are we assuring that they are not ending up in the water bodies? So these kind of details, I think, is what helped us, you know, move across the competition on being true to our USP. Or if there we have multiple end products, how are we also catering to that so that there's like less wastage. Then financials, which is very important for any case com. You can explain the why, you can explain the how, but then how you're going to actually do it. So again, you have to break it down to the smallest of the units, everything from whatever your costs are or how are you pricing it. So in our case, because our solution was very manufacture heavy, very capex heavy, we broke it down to phases. Okay, this is phase one, this is what we'll do. Phase two, how are we planning to expand and all that. Assumptions is one of the things that is very important to mention. uh, so throughout our rounds, we had different jury, and almost every jury had pointed, like really wanted to know our assumptions on how did we, you know, come up with these numbers, and it had to be as close to reality is what I'll say. So again, here your research, your stats, your numbers will help you bring in, and the detail that you go into, like everything from the number of machines that we will be using to the land that those machines will be taking over. So how much rent will we pay at that time? What city will we place our plants into? So these are some of the details that we had in our mind. That is how we charted our whole PNL, and it's not mentioned in the slide because you have limited space, but whenever you have Q&A rounds, you can always put it out that these were our assumption and this is what we have planned to. So it shows your like attention to detail when it comes to your business plan. Next is scalability, about how we will so till this slide, till the financial slide was the slide that we submitted for our semifinals, for our quarterfinals, and after that for semifinals, we had the opportunity to put more context to the business, to explain how, apart from the finances and about from the processes, how will actually make profit from it, how we'll scale it, what is our target audience, what are the industries that it will serve into, how are we gonna market it, the customer segments, how are we gonna cater to each one of them, the future scope, how will we take it outside of India, how will we have, our plant set up near the ports to reduce the cost of transport and all that. So this is what we did, and again attaching the resources, because these will help you put your case across when jury Q&A is again a big part of the presentation. So this will help you build your case about how relevant your idea is, how feasible it is, and if there is an existing competitor, and how are you different from the competitor. Yep.
So as I can see, there are some frameworks as well. So how did you decide like which framework to go about?
So in case of framework, always choose the framework that puts your story the in in the best light. Uh, so like here we use the RRCE framework because our idea was such that it was catering to multiple things, like it was solving multiple problems. This is one framework that we decided to go through, and again this is a multiple iteration um process. Like you obviously stick to your basic frameworks that you have been taught in college. For marketing, like for marketing, 4 Ps or 8 Ps is a very basic thing to look into. Or if you're so this was an idea which was very new to India. We hardly had any competitors. None of them were direct competitors for. But if you have a product which you are entering in a highly saturated market, so there you have to do a whole market analysis. So basis your problem is where you will decide your framework, point number one. And point number two, select a framework which will help you highlight your problem the best, or your solution the best, and not just any framework because everyone is using it.
That's very correct. Now coming to the last question. So this year the competition is focusing more on new and innovative ideas. So what approach or mindset would you recommend participants should adopt while working on their concept this time?
So what I see, Reliance TUP as a competition has always been focusing on innovations. So not just our idea, but the idea of like the finalists that we had an opportunity to compete with. Every one of them brought a very new point of view or very new perspective, be it in product or service or manufacturing or retail. Uh, Innovation is like the keyword, and second is entrepreneurship. Reliance has also mentioned it multiple times in their description as well. So it's not just how you come up with a crazy idea, it's also how you make the idea actually happen. Why I was highlighting on the fact that you can pick up an existing business is because they do really want you to, implement these businesses or make it really happen. Like treat it like a proper pitch, like a Shark Tank pitch. So see yourself as the owners. Uh, think of the jury as your VC. Think about all the pointers that you as a business owner will think. Okay, why will the jury invest in my business? Why will they put their money in? Do they see a future in the idea that I have? Is there an existing competitor, and how am I being different from it? How so? Think of all the questions that the jury might ask, and that will help you build your idea or build your case. uh, about that is about innovation in general, in entrepreneurship. Again, like I mentioned about the filters, we had it in mind to look after macro trends and how the future of our country and the world in general is moving. One of the hints, I don't quote me on this, but TUP, the tagline is think out of the box, and the word
Yeah.
bot is hinting a lot about technology and AI. So maybe that's a line that you can think it through. But again, keep 4 pointers in mind. It has to be feasible, viable, it has to be ethical if you are involving AI or anything like that. And again, it has to be desirable. That needs to be a need or a problem that people are facing, and then you, with your skill and passion, are trying to solve it.
So
Yep.
one more thing. think, like as you mentioned, the idea should be more innovative, but would it be necessary to have a unique idea, or it can be something which is already there but in an improvised way? Like you mentioned, you chose something which is not in India, but it's outside, right? So,
Correct.
because mostly students will go about this like doing something unique. They
Mhm.
like how would I say, like they connect unique innovative with uniqueness. So is
Mhm.
it more about like what the judge will say? Like, is it unique will be there or an existing idea but with better implementation or a structured way?
Yes, it is the second one. The idea can exist in some form or the other, uh, anywhere in the world. It can be as simple as a cocktail mixer. But then what, like, how creatively are you putting it forward? Like, innovation does not need to be in product or the process. It can be anywhere throughout the value chain. So that is what will help them. And again, knowing the basics, like going to the first principles and having a clarity of how you will make this business come to life will help you. Because even throughout the rounds, the jury was asking us questions about how, about which pointed to this only on how you will make it happen in real life. Like where our case lagged, I'll tell you that also, so that it helps build clarity, is that it was very like capex heavy. It was like a lot of machinery and everything involved. So this was a problem that we also were tackling throughout the rounds, and then we also developed a solution regarding it. But yeah, so case in point, it can be anything throughout your value chain. Innovation does not need to be product or be unique there.
As we have come to an end, I would like to thank you. Thank you so much, Shreyanshi, for taking the time to share your inspiring journey and practical insights with us today. Your experience as a national winner of Reliance TUP has given everyone a clear understanding, and it will be helpful for the students who are going to watch this video. From crafting impactful solution to presenting with confidence, a big thank you to you. And we hope like each student will gain valuable takeaways to help them to navigate Reliance TUP Season 11 and perhaps even earn that coveted pre-placement interview opportunity with Reliance Industries. So before we wrap up, I would like to share that PrepBee has a vibrant WhatsApp community where MBA students across India connect to discuss case competitions, placements, and B-School experiences. If you aren't already a part of it, we encourage you to join and be part of this growing peer-led learning network. With that, we officially conclude today's Reliance TUP Season 11 session. Thank you once again, Shreyanshi, and thank you to all the students who are going
Thank you
to
so
watch
much.
this video. Wishing you all the very best for your upcoming competition and your MBA journey ahead. Thank you.
Yep. Abhilasha, just one thing. I